Hello, my name is Patty, a mentor at Sharing Your Sound. Today, I'm going to talk about rhythm. Now, I highly encourage you to check out our fellow mentor Macy's video on reading notes from the legend lines to treble and bass clefs. If you haven't already, please go check the video out because this is kind of like a part 2 to that. So, if notes tell us how high or low to play a note, rhythm teaches you how long or short. They can be long, sustained, or short and or straight to the point. So let's first talk about rhythm when it comes to notes here. The 5 most common notes are a quarter note, the half note, the whole note, the eighth note, and the 16th note. So, a quarter note, this note you see here, this is one beat. Think of it as 1/4 to $1, and each quarter is 25 cents. 25 cents each is $1. Now, if you take 2 quarters, you have 50 cents, and that's half of $1, which is what a half note is. Half notes are 2 beats, 50 cents to $1. Now, whole notes, whole shebang. 4 beats, the whole dollar, 4 quarters. Now, we it's even though it's possible to get bigger, it's just as possible to be smaller. And that are these 2 notes here. The note with this one little flag here, this is an eighth note. And an eighth note goes backwards. So instead of being 2 beats, it's half a beat. Truly emphasizing that half situation. And in that vein, the note next to it, is a 16th note, which is a quarter of a beat. In a whole note, 2 half notes make that up, which relate to 4 quarters, which relate to 8 eighths, and 16 sixteenths. You can go even deeper. We can do 30 seconds, you can do 64ths, 1/28th, and it really goes deep. Just as rhythm teaches us how to play sound, they can also indicate when to play silence. And that's where rest come in. A quarter rest looks like this. Just draw a light and simple, it's a hard thing to look at. It is difficult to draw. A quarter rest, instead of being a beat of sound, is a beat of silence. Now, the half rest, which I like to call the hat rest, almost mispronounced there, is 2 beats of silence, in the same way as a half note. Whole note, which I like to call the bowl, 4 rests, 4 beats of silence, the whole shebang. Now, the 8th rest and 16th rest are a little bit easier to write and draw, still a little bit weird to look at, but they both equal half a beat of silence and a quarter beat of silence. Speaking of looking pretty weird, it's weird to see the 8th note and 16th note drawn like this, right? We usually see 2 eighth notes together and 4 sixteenths together. These actually both equal the same thing. They're both quarter notes. So, like I said, 1 whole note, 2 half notes, 4 quarters, 8 eighths, 4 16 sixteenths, which would be 4 of these, and then 8 eighth notes, 4 of these. Now that you've gone over notes and rests, I want to address something called subdivision. Now, in our little one-on-one video, this might not mean much, but when you really get into things, it's really fundamental skill. So, the earlier the better. Let's say I'm in 4/4. 4 note equals 80. And I've just finished playing this measure, but now I'm at 5 bar measure rests. So the way I wrote that was a whole rest, which means rest for whole 4 beats, a whole measure. And instead of writing out 5 whole rests, you can write a 5 above the whole note to indicate that it's 5 bars of rest. So how do I count that in my head? So you just count in quarter notes. As quarter note equals 80, and as you can see in the meter here, the quarter note gets a beat in a fourth measure. So I would just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth until I get to 5, 3, 4, and then right after that, you get right into the next set of measures. So, let's review what we learned today. We learned that rhythm is how long or short we play something. We learned about quarter notes, half notes, whole notes, and also eighth and 16th notes. We learned how many beats they take in a bar, and as we know, and we learned about the more you go down, the shorter the note is, and how many equal the same thing. We then talked about rests and how they also apply to the same extent. Finally, we did a little information, a little infographic about subdivision and how to use what you now know about rhythm to apply to a scenario where you won't be playing much, but still need to keep in track with the rest of the music. Thank you for watching Rhythm 101, and be sure to check out plenty of other videos at Sharing Our Set.